Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So for years, lawmakers in Washington, D.C. have been trying to come up with a plan to fix or improve Social Security benefits, but really all they've really done is actually make things worse or at least not improve it whatsoever. But finally, could lawmakers finally be coming together to get something done to improve the long-term solvency for Social Security? In today's video, we might actually have some really great news. We are going to be covering a new plan that is out there that they may finally pass and sign into law as early as this year. But before we go ahead and dive into for today, if you would like to explore potential huge savings on your Medicare plan, then you might want to consider giving Chapter a call today with that number up there on the screen. You see, historically, people who have worked with Chapter have saved right around $1,100 on their Medicare plan. So what do you have to lose? Give Chapter a call today with that number up there on the screen. That number is 612-895-2101. That is 612-895-2101. And again, historically, on average, people who have worked with Chapter have saved right around $1,100 on their Medicare plan. So what do you have to lose? The call is completely free. Give Chapter a call today. And thank you to Chapter for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so diving right into for today. So once again, for years in DC, lawmakers have been trying to improve Social Security and make sure that it's solvent and sticks around for a longer period of time. But unfortunately, that date just keeps moving up closer and closer. That date, of course, is the insolvency date. It has moved up all the way to 2033, according to the Social Security trustees. And actually, according to another report, it's actually moved up to 2032 after the recent passage of Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. So you can see up there on the screen, according to the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act would accelerate Social Security and Medicare insolvency up by 1 year, all the way up to 2032. That is, of course, because it removes taxes for, many Americans. It gets rid of taxes on overtime, it gets rid of taxes on tips, and it also increases the standard deduction for those 65 and older, so most Social Security beneficiaries, by an additional $6,000. And it's great for those people, of course, paying less taxes. They get to keep more of their paycheck. It's great for them, but at the same time, it also means that less money is flowing into the Social Security Trust Fund via the payroll tax. Via the Social Security payroll tax is 6.2 to 12.4%, depending whether you're an employee or whether you're self-employed. So you can also see that chart up there on the screen. Come late 2032, there is going to be a 24% cut across the board if lawmakers do not act to ensure that more money is flowing into the trust fund, or less money is leaving the trust fund, otherwise a benefit cut. And there have been different proposals out there by Democrats, some by Republicans. You can see up there on the screen, we have the Social Security Expansion Act by Bernie Sanders that would actually increase benefits by $200 per month, and they would do that by increasing taxes on those earning more than $250,000 per year. And then we have another bill by John Larson, the Social Security 2100 Act. This would also increase taxes on those earning above $400,000 per year, and would increase benefits across the board by 2%. So it's really great. But unfortunately, those bills are only by Democrats. They are not by Republicans. So they would not be able to be passed through Congress without Republican support. That's because in the Senate, they need at least 60 votes, which does require bipartisanship. But right now, we do have a plan in Washington by a Republican in Bill Cassidy and a Democrat in Tim Kaine. They're getting other Republicans and Democrats together to try to pass their big idea. And this is really huge. They actually had a Washington Post op-ed article on there, and basically their plan is to invest their way out of this in a fund separate from Social Security. I'm not going to explain it myself. I'm actually going to let Bill Cassidy himself explain it. So let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Republican Senator Bill Cassidy and Democratic Senator Tim Kaine are hoping to help rescue Social Security. In a Washington Post op-ed this week, the senators proposed diversifying trust fund investments in order to maintain benefits. Senator Bill Cassidy joins us this morning. He chairs the Health Commission. Senator, this has been bandied about for years, I think. What's the current investment, just for people that aren't familiar, what's it invested in now? What's the current return, and what would the the new idea hope to get, and what would it be in?
So the trust fund, the extra money that's in the Social Security Trust Fund, by the way, good morning, Joe, is invested in treasuries. And so some of those were issued a while ago, so they're bearing 1, 2, 3, 4%. We are losing money on those treasuries right now. What we propose is a separate fund from the Social Security Trust Fund, in which we would put $1.5 trillion in it over 10 years, invest it in the U.S. economy, hold it in escrow for about 65 to 75 years, and then use that return to offset any unfunded accrued liability in the Social Security Trust Fund.
Okay, where do we get the 1.5 trillion?
Yeah, so the way the U.S. budget works, if we borrow $300 billion a year for 5 years and put it in the trust fund, and we hold it in escrow, it offsets the borrowing. So it doesn't contribute to the nation's indebtedness because you got the money. If you want to pay off the bills, you just kind of like dissolve the escrow account. And so it doesn't increase your debt or deficit. So we would borrow that money over 5 years, put it in this separate fund from Social Security Trust Fund, and bail out the fund. Because everybody should remember, Social Security is going insolvent, the trust fund, in 8 years. At that time, by law, benefits will be cut as much as 25%.
This has worked in the past, not at this scale, but it can be done. If there was a 10-year secular bear market, would it still work?
It absolutely would still work because we keep it in the account for 70 years. And so if you look since 1929, the Great Depression, Great Financial Crisis, the 70s, we've had about an 8.54% annual return just in the stock market, not including other assets. And so we would go through those times. But by the way, we modeled this through the Great Financial Crisis. And the Great Financial Crisis, of course, it dips down, but within like a year, it's back up to where it was. The power of our economy is so great. Lastly, I will say, even if it only offsets 60% of our unfunded accrued liability, that's a lot better than we're doing now.
Any other assets that you would, I mean, this would be a big step, obviously. I guess crypto would be out of the question, Senator.
Joe, you don't want me deciding where the money is put. I can promise you that. You know what I'm saying? I don't give financial advice. But we would have patterned after the thrift savings plan, which the federal government already does. There would be an independent board of people, an arm's length away from Congress with strict guardrails to keep the president and to keep Congress from messing with their investment decisions. There would be an audit every year, and it would be posted online. And so the public would be able to watch where it's invested. You ain't going to see me doing it.
And it'd be safe, right? I mean, God knows when people need money in Washington, they go after anything that's available. Is there a way of making sure it's not touched? So
the federal government already does this. They do this sort of system with the Federal Railroad Retirement System.
Right. Worked for them, yeah.
It works for them great. And for the thrift savings plan. So we took those same guardrails. We had Heritage Foundation help make them a little bit stronger. We had David Walker, the former comptroller of the U.S. currency, make it even stronger yet. We put them into law. And then we said, Congress, if you ever do anything which decreases the return on investment, you got to raise taxes to make up for it. We figure mandating Congress raise taxes will be a surefire way to keep Congress from messing with it.
So again, a very interesting idea there. Once again, a bipartisan idea by Bill Cassidy, a Republican, and Tim Kaine, a Democrat. We will have to wait and see whether or not they can get enough Democrats and Republicans on board with this idea to fix and solve Social Security for the long term without raising taxes, without cutting benefits. This would be absolutely huge. But with that said, leave your thoughts and comments below. I would definitely love to read them, but that's all we have for today's video, and I will see you in the next one.